Welcome to Spoken Novel. I narrate web novels with added effects like sounds, music and pictures to give you a more immersive experience. This series will be about that time I got incarnated as a slime, and we will carry on from where the anime finished. If you enjoy the video, then like and subscribe for more content. The words that reached. Storm Dragon Veldora has been reborn. This report caused a great panic within the Western Saints Church. The connection that was lost with the subjugation team was quickly discovered. They were strictly ordered to report at regular intervals, so a loss of connection indicated some misfortune. So upon hearing this report, Hinata immediately decided to set off to Tempest. But at that moment came the surprising news of Storm Dragon Veldora's revival, which resulted in Hinata, who was preparing to set off, to be summoned by the Holy Empire Ruberian's most influential officials. The 7 celestial sages these wise men are called. It is said that each has transcended a hero-class existence and is a legendary being that is often in charge of rearing new heroes. These beings are completely secluded and never appear in public, and are only discussed as legends in fairy tales and other such stories. Nor are the 7 celestial sages an existence that Hinata could talk about. Obviously, they are not an existence that the Templar Knights would know about. So why does Hinata know of them? Because she is the last disciple of the 7 celestial sages. They typically train their successor personally, and no one knows when the successor takes over. In other words, the fact that they all trained one person is beyond unusual. Hinata was just that excellent. And because she was so excellent, she was able to learn all the skills and battle abilities that they could teach her. In a sense, you could call her a work of art. Few people from the Holy Empire of Ruberian could order Hinata around. In other words, you could even say that all power was vested in her. After inheriting her post from her predecessor, she began her reign in the top echelons of the country. Who could order her? The current emperor and the 7 celestial sages. Furthermore, only the 7 celestial sages can directly meet with the emperor, so Hinata has never met him. Nor has she even heard this voice. Which is why, when discussing beings who can order her, only the 7 celestial sages remain. This time, she was summoned directly by them via telepathy. And she was told about Storm Dragon Veldora's rebirth. Thus, though she had prepared troops to set off to Tempest, she decided to put that order on hold. As a result, her attack on Tempest while Rimuru was away did not occur. Which was fortunate. Had she attacked Tempest along with her Knights Templar while he was away, there's a high chance the battle would have went in her favor. Anyways, Monster's country Tempest narrowly escaped death. Was this a failure on Hinata's part? By no means. What surprised her, that wasn't only the report she received from the sages. As a messenger she sent to Tempest, Rahim has returned. But his appearance was completely different. A thin layer of dirt and tattered clothing covered his body. His eyes darted, his body vehemently convulsed. He looked as if he tasted unimaginable fears. 100 trusted Knight Templars guided Rahim into the main chamber. Cardinal Nicholas also came to hear his report. Rahim was brought into the chamber as he was. He was offered to change, but he adamantly refused, and insisted that he had urgent information that had to be shared. Thus he stood in the main chamber, inside the towering cathedral in the center of the Holy Empire Ruberian. In all of the empire, this was the most holy and impregnable place. And there he knelt. Hesitantly, he lifted his face to confirm Hinata's presence. He seemed a little relieved seeing her there. And then he stood, his expression quickly turning into even a deeper despair. Rahim removed the tattered clothing that covered his body. Seeing what was beneath, the Templar Knights covered their faces. Even Hinata looked repulsed. Everyone's gaze was focused on Rahim's exposed body, as a myriad of faces were protruding from it. Still alive, some showed anguished expressions, others of despair. There were even some mad ones smiling, as if mocking the holy land upon which he stood. First, behold my body. It is the punishment for evoking their king's wrath. I was a fool. A truly terrifying enemy I have made. A demon lord. By our hand we gave birth to a new demon lord. Perhaps even proudly, Rahim declared in a loud voice, his eyes bloodshot. And thus he told them of the terrifying demon lord and his birth, without concealing any of Rahim's wrongdoings. He was not ordered to do so. Rather, he himself was obsessed to disclose all this, to free himself from the torment, to be forgiven by God. He thought he needed to confess his sins. But surely he could not be forgiven with just this much. The Templars trembled upon hearing of a new demon lord's birth, and when they heard about his absurd power, they could no longer hide their astonishment. Before his light attack, every antidemon barriers, large-scale magic barriers, and even holy barriers are utterly foolish, and none have ever heard of such magic. If faced with an attack that cannot be blocked, even those gathered in the room could not survive it, perhaps. But Hinata did not tremble. Based on what Rahim reported, it was an attack that used the rays of the sun, she figured. And if you understand the nature of the attack, it's easy to counter it. Seeing the stoic Hinata reassured the Templar Knights, thus, they calmed down. If their commander Sakaguchi Hinata did not fear the demon lord, then there was no chance they would be defeated. Their confidence was directly tied to their unwavering faith in her. The report continued. The news that Archdemon had appeared again provoked an uproar. This wasn't something they could ignore any longer. It is absolutely crucial that an Archdemon, which harbors the demon lord seed, be immediately destroyed. Besides, if it was a simple Archdemon that was born depending on abilities, 3 Knights Templar should be able to destroy it. And if they brought 5 knights, there was no way they could lose. But this would prove difficult if they allowed it to continue existing and accumulating experience. They had to destroy it now. Such was the rule regarding dealing with an appearance of an Archdemon. Hinata-sama, this is an urgent matter. My team will subjugate this demon. Please order us. In that case, we shall also go. Please order us to attack. The young Templars exclaimed following their elder's example. The others too, in lieu with common sense, did not oppose the measure. After all, the sooner they subjugate the Archdemon the better. But Rahim's story did not end. He still had things to say. Rather, he hasn't even mentioned the main points yet. But the Templars could not have known of this. Which is why they could discuss such pointless things as subjugating an Archdemon. Please wait a moment. Do not pay any heed to the Archdemon subjugation. The light magic I mentioned. As I just said, when it hit us, we were completely wiped out. However, that doesn't portray the scene appropriately. There were 15,000 of us, and this elite force was completely destroyed by a single monster's terrifying attack. I meant that literally. Not as an army, but every single individual. Massacred. That's no exaggeration. That's exactly as it happened. Silence enveloped that holy room, a heavy atmosphere in which no one could utter a single word. A monster which could massacre 15,000 men. It made them recall a certain legend. A legend speaks of a monster which became a demon lord after destroying a city. Truly, the monster fit the description of the word demon lord. The monster sowed chaos and destruction. Beings that exceed human capabilities are usually limited to the special S-class dragons. Currently, 3 of them remain and 1 has been sealed until now. These 3 beings are designated Special S-Class, but in reality, it wouldn't be unusual to recognize 2 more Special S-ranked individuals from among the Demon Lords. The reason they are not recognized so is simple. They were mostly active before the Church has been formed and have yet to produce any further causalities. In other words, should they resume their rampage, they will be recognized as Special S-ranked beings. They will be recognized as a being that cannot be defeated by human hands. That's what Special S rank means. That's the end of part 1. Part 2 of this chapter will be up soon, so don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.